My name is Damon Reed, and I am an MSc student in Science Communication and Future Media here at the University of Salford. And I want to talk to you about bacteria. The first thing that comes into our minds about bacteria is germs, viruses, disease, and pestilence. Horrible microscopic bugs attacking us from the inside, making us ill, and occasionally dead. Yes, they get a lot of bad press. But this is not always the case. Take, for example, these fellas here. Currently, they reside in our gut, breaking down what we eat and preventing the spread of pathogens. But what can we do to raise awareness of the good and bad in this microscopic world and how it affects us in our everyday lives? Dr. Chloe James is a senior lecturer in the medical microbiology here at the university. As a bacteriologist, her research focuses on food poisoning and its sources, chronic wound infections, and nasty bacterial pathogens. She is also a science communicator, keen on getting the word across about how bacteria shapes us in our healthy existence. For this, she'd like to feature an immersive, interactive 3D installation at our studios here at Media City for the Manchester Science Festival this autumn. And with myself having worked on 3D and VR projects for many years, it seemed like a good idea to join her team. So, I donned a white coat. And set off to the lab. So here we are with Chloe showing me around the lab.
We have autoclaves, centrifuges.
This is a containment level 2 facility, harbouring many dastardly strains of pathogens. They're all here in this freezer, which seemed worryingly similar to my fridge at home. In this room is a very cutting-edge gene sequencer that allows her students to analyse the bacteria in any environmental and medical sample without having to grow it in the lab. And there it is. To be honest, when we entered the room, I was expecting this to happen.
Let's see what you're made of.
But that's just my imagination running away with me. So, we then sit down and go through ideas. To get a feel of where she was coming from, I firstly asked Chloe about her previous involvement with the Science Festival.
So I've been working with the Manchester Science Festival for the last 3 years. And what we've been doing there is just swabbing people's hands or behind their ear or in their mouths and drawing unique bacterial artwork. So we've got agar plates like this one. This has got Staphylococcus aureus growing on it, which is a very nasty pathogen. But it can also live quite harmlessly on our skin. So lots of us will carry strains of Staph aureus on their skin. And so we've been using these agar plates and different types that have pretty colours, encouraging people to draw a picture and then growing the picture in the lab to show people the diversity of bacteria that live on their hands and that they're not necessarily associated with disease. So the message is kind of twofold. On the one hand, it's, yeah, you're full of bacteria, there's loads of it, and it's not necessarily causing disease. And in fact, a lot of the bacteria in our guts are important for the absorption of nutrients, for protecting us from pathogens. The flip side of that is, look how much bacteria you've got on your hands. It's really important to wash your hands to reduce the level of transmission.
So from this came new ideas for this year's festival.
So we've come up with this idea called the MicrobiHome, which is like thinking about the human body as home to microorganisms, and we thought that we might be able to separate out the activity into different rooms, and each room would be a different site of the body and would have a different level of engagement. So some would be walking through these landscapes, but other would be actually, sort of sampling their own bodies to look to see what bacteria is there through the microscope, through agar plates, and also through DNA sequencing. So we've got loads of ideas for things that could all be kind of encompassed into this home for microbiology.
This got me thinking about augmented reality, where we could have physical models of floating bacteria and people could get details on them by using their mobile phones or tablets, viewing the physical model and seeing live overlays of information and even videos. Another idea of Chloe's is based on a particular piece of equipment she's bidding for funding for.
This machine is called a bioflux, and it uses microfluidics that enable you to look down a microscope at a bacterial community as it develops. So you have a surface that has liquid flowing across it, and you flow your bacteria across, and the bacteria will start to stick. And then those bacteria will start to excrete sugars that help them to stick together and build communities. This community is called a biofilm. And this is how most bacteria exist naturally in the body, in the environment, pretty much everywhere they exist as these biofilms. And the biofilm forms this quite beautiful landscape that looks like hills and mountains and these big columns and big mushroom shapes. And we thought it would be a really great immersive experience for normal, ordinary people to be able to walk through this kind of landscape. So this machine can image this landscape as it builds up from scratch, and we can create a 3D image of that. And so it would be really nice either for this to be virtual reality or for it to be a physical structure that people walk into and feel themselves entering the world of microbiology. So I think that then opens up lots of possibilities for pop-up messages about what these bacteria are doing and who they are and what their importance is. So the second part is looking at the role of antibiotics. We've known about them for not that long, 70 years. And they're so wonderful because they kill bacteria and they don't kill humans. And so what we're facing, and this happened right from the start, is that the bacteria are resistant to the antibiotics and now the antibiotics are useless. So what we thought is people could kind of, a bit like an inner space experience, that people could turn up to this microbial landscape armed with antibiotics of different types, and they could choose where to fire their antibiotics and what concentration and for what period of time. And the microbiological landscape would change, would react to those antibiotics.
So there we are. Hopefully, our creative attempt to show the public the positive and negative effects on this tiny organism will inform and educate. And be a lot of fun too. My name is Damon Reed.